Today, we're going to be talking about popular countries that are way emptier than you might think. For example, you know the biggest country in the entire world is Russia. And Russia also has a huge population of 146 million people. But you might not know that 60% of Russia is uninhabitable. And if I draw a line right here, even though the top part of this line has way more land, 80% of the Russian population live below this line. This is mostly because the land above this line is covered by a land known as Siberia, and Siberia is just icy mountains which is completely impossible to live at. Now, let's talk about a country that you probably live in, the United States of America, or USA for short. If I draw a line between America, you can see that the land area percentage is 60 to 40, which is huge. But if we change this to population density, we can see it's way bigger, and that's to the right side, which had less land. Now, this is pretty crazy, but what's even crazier, if I take the California from the left side and move it to the right side, the density percentage become much higher for the right side. So why does barely anyone live on the western side of the USA? Well, this is mostly because of rocky inhabitable mountains on the western side. The most largest mountain in the western side is the Rocky Mountains, which has a population of only 12.7 million people. That may seem like a lot, but let's put that into a comparison. The Rocky Mountains has more land area than the entire country of Nigeria, and Nigeria has a humongous population of 219 million people. That's 17 times the Rocky Mountains population, which is just crazy. We don't look away from North America just yet. If we look up and over US, we see the second largest country in the entire world, Canada. Canada has a humongous land area of 9.9 million square kilometers. And you'll be surprised to know that most of Canada's population lives within this circle. But we can take this further. If we zoom in and draw a line, we can see that 89, almost 90% of Canada's population live below this line, which you can clearly see has much less land area. But we can take this even further. If we move this line a little lower, we can see that 70% of Canadians live below this line. Now, why is this? This is mostly because of the Canadian Shield, which is a huge plateau of rocks which is impossible for farming or to live in. And not only is it just impossible to live in the Canadian Shield, it's also just better to live in that circle I was telling you about, remember? That's because that circle is home to the Great Lakes, which is very easy for farming, which makes it very easy to live. Now we move back to the continent of Asia and we move to the country of China. As you know, China is one of the most populous countries in the entire world, having over 1.4 billion people. But you'll be surprised to know that 94% of China, 94% of that 1.4 billion people, live on the right side or eastern side of this line, which is just crazy. You can see this line in multiple different occasions, like this map, which shows where most of the universities or high speed railways are in China, and you can clearly see the line. Even when I don't draw the line, you can see in the satellite night view of China where most lights are on. You can clearly see in the left side or the western side, there's basically zero lights on. So why is Western China basically empty? Well, in the past, Western China used to be covered with a plateau of uninhabitable rocks. That's why everyone used to live in Eastern China, which made the Western China population growth impossible. And there's way more rainfall and almost no rainfall in Western China compared to Eastern China, which there's a lot of rainfall. And it's just better to live there. Now, for the last country in this video, we move to the continent of Europe and to the country of Spain. This is a little different for Spain. Now, I really can't draw a line. I mean, sure, I could draw a line and say that 74% of the Spanish population live west of this line and only 26% live east. But this doesn't show how sparsely populated Spain actually is. If I take a look at a few other maps, like these type of maps, they show the satellite view at night of Spain, the rainfall, and the population density. This is the satellite view on the left side. The bottom is the rainfall, and the right is the population density. If I look at these, you can clearly see that more people live on the border of Spain. And you might know that this is because Madrid, Barcelona, and other populated Spain cities are on the border. So, why is this? Why does no one live in the center of Spain? Well, there are a lot of reasons, but the reason I believe is that Spain, rural Spain, the center Spain, which was so empty, had lack of labor, which made farming impossible, and lack of farmers. And due to this unfarmable land, young people have moved to popular cities and good cities like Madrid, Barcelona, and Valencia. And that's why the population growth in those cities skyrocketed, and while no one lived in these rural cities. And that's why Spain is quite empty. These are all the countries I'm going to look at for this video, and I'll meet you guys in the next video. Goodbye.